Notebook Check Tech Reviews. Thanks for watching. We've got the ThinkPad Yoga 260 here. I'm just going to really quickly unbox it. And what I'm going to do in the video is, of course, give you our full test results, scores, and some performance test results from our labs as well. The Lenovo ThinkPad Yoga 260 is obviously the high-end range of that Yoga brand. This has got that keyboard that just pops away like that. Can you see that? Let's just do that again. So there's the keyboard raised. There's the keyboard tucked away. And the reason you want that is so that you can use it as a tablet without having that keyboard in the way, causing any problems there. So what I'll do now is go through the specifications. We'll go round the device and I'll give you some performance test results. At the end of the video, you can see the overall score and the score breakdown and our pros and cons. Feel free to advance to that if you don't want to go through all the details here, but don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, where we'll let you know when we upload new videos. So let's get into the Yoga ThinkPad 260. So we'll take a look around the ports in a second. Just take a look at the overall score we got for you there. 86% is the overall score. That's a good performance score, a good rating score for us at Notebook Check. And I'll just flick back to some of the specifications there. So we have got a full Core i7 Skylake-U series CPU inside. And we've got the 520, Intel 520 GPU, and we've got 8 gigs of RAM. We've got a 12.5-inch, it's not quite glossy, it's slightly matte glossy, although there is a bit of reflection on there, as you can see. Screen, IPS, and of course that's multi-touch, and if I could just pull it out there, we've got the stowable pen there as well. So we have actually got an active digitizer stowage on board. Let's have a look at some of the ports and you'll get an idea of where this is targeted, because on this side we've got that Lenovo power port there, we've got a docking port there, we've got a display port, we've got USB, and we've got a smart card reader there, and then on the other side we've got full HDMI, so you've got 2 digital video output ports here, another USB, and then you've got a combi nano SIM or micro SIM, not sure which it is, and a micro SD card slot there. There is the pen stowage there, and there is the volume rocker and power button there. Also on this we've got a fingerprint reader on here, and we've got the classic ThinkPad keyboard layout. So let's take a closer look at that keyboard. So we've got the classic ThinkPad layout here, back with the touch pointer as well, so you've got every option here with a nice smooth touchpad, multi-touch of course, buttons on the top of that touchpad, and there's the pointer. You've also got finger touch and of course digitizer touch as well, so there's plenty of input options on here. Keyboard really nice, of course. This is feeling immediately like a standard ThinkPad keyboard. I'm just actually checking to see if it's got a backlight on it. Yes, it has. That's the backlight on there. I don't know if you can actually see that. Let's just bring that up to level. You should be able to see the backlight on underneath there. Whoops. Is that going on? There we go. There's the backlight on there. So obviously a really nice keyboard here. The screen looks nice to the touch. It looks like there's a little bit of a yellow tint as I look at it subjectively, but let's have a look at the test results we got in our lab. 371 nits maximum center brightness. On battery, did we get a battery figure for that? 371 as well, so that's full brightness on battery and on mains power. The black level 0.29, so we've got a really nice contrast of nearly 1300 there. And as I said, there's a slightly non-reflective surface on it. There's still reflections, I don't know if you can see that, but slightly non-reflective layer on there. Now I mentioned those colours. I may not have been wrong, because if you look at the deltas on the colour and the grayscales there, we've got out of the box 8.51 and 9.23, so not very good on the colours there. There's a look at some of the devices we're comparing it with. The EliteBook Revolve 810 G3, better colour accuracy there, although not brilliant. And the Yoga 3 Pro, interestingly, deltas of just 3, which is really quite good. So obviously you've got various modes with this. You've got your tent mode, which allows you to use that screen in presentation mode there. You can use that as a presentation mode. You can obviously use it as a tablet as well. But that tablet mode, a little bit heavy there. Total weight here is, I think it's 1.4 kilograms as I quickly scan back to the specifications. It feels like 1.3, 1.4 kilos. It's 1.32 kilos, so not a bad guess from me there. So the other things you need to know about this is we've obviously got Windows 10 Pro here. The battery size is a 44 watt hour lithium ion. Now, there's access at the bottom here. You can take the back off, but it is not, it's not intended to replace the battery by the user. If you have a look at some of our images, we've got images of the device with the back off there, and you can see various parts of the device underneath the base plate for easy maintenance, basically. We've got more information about connectivity on the full review, but note you can get various Wi-Fi modules. There's a Broadcom and an Intel AC Wi-Fi module available. We've got Bluetooth, and we've also got vPro options on this as well. And although you haven't got an Ethernet port on this, the Ethernet connectivity is provided inside, and that comes out through the docking port. So you get a true Intel Ethernet connectivity through the docking port there. One of the nice things about that stylus is that it actually charges from the unit as you put it in. So it is an active stylus, but you won't have to worry about the batteries in that, because that will charge as you put it back in the device there, the right way round. There's that PC Mark 8 score for you. Obviously we've got CPU and GPU performance test results on the website. Good score there, 3263, and that's hinting that there might be a fast SSD inside. I'm going to scroll down to the SSD scores and we'll take a look at those. Look at the Crystal Mark Disk 3 results there on the ThinkPad X260. 468.9 is an excellent figure for that read sequential speed, and the write at 85, the write 4K, is also an excellent speed. So that's really helping to make this a more fluid device. So I haven't had too long with the keyboard. Yoga, oops, oh, we're in a German keyboard. It is really nice. It's feeling really nice feedback. I've just spent a lot of time using the Surface Book and a couple of other 2-in-1s, so the actual keyboard experience for me is probably too good right now. I've adapted to short throw keys, but this is a good keyboard. I'm trying to do it, definitely need a little bit more locating for my fingers on this, but that is a solid keyboard, and there's going to be no problems there with using that. So we have no problems here connected to our AC Wi-Fi. We're connected to 867 megabits per second, and everything seems to be perfect there. What I want to do is just bring up a Sunspider score for you. Let's show you that so that you can see smoothest fluidity of Edge browser. That is really quite fast. There's the smoothness of the browser there, and let's start that. And I'm going to guess the Sunspider score. I haven't had a look. 987. That is about 200 milli. I'm going to guess 200 milliseconds. It came in at 81.8 milliseconds, less than I thought there. That's on Microsoft Edge browser. Let's just do something there. I just want to take a little picture, and we'll do some right then. So this, okay, there's no friction on the end of the pen here, and I'm just going to go to the edges to see if we've got any pixel or responsiveness issues there. Doesn't look like it. And we've got, let me see if I can get that there for you, a registration distance of a very high registration distance of around 1 centimeter. That's about 10 millimeters, and a deregistration distance going up to, going up to about 50, maybe a little bit more millimeters on that. Pressure sensitivity is there. I can't really tell with this app, although yes, it's definitely pressure sensitive. And responsiveness very, very good. I can hardly detect any latency on there at all. This is really nice. Palm rejection is good as well. That is really, really quite good. So that is a little bit of a look at the pen there. Obviously just a short look, but everything looking perfect. Well, as you'd expect with a ThinkPad there. We did try some gaming, just a few games for you up on the screen there. You can see you've got some entry-level gaming with the HT 520 graphics, but this isn't our high-end card. Don't expect this to perform as well as some discrete graphics cards that you get. There's Cinebench running through the OpenGL test there. So as I run that test, I'm hearing the fan spin up. There's a little bit of a whir to it as well. Let's just go to our noise test results. So maximum noise of 36.5 in our test lab is certainly not too bad. Can certainly hear it on the desk here. I'm only 30 centimeters away, and that's gone silent again now. So obviously under load, that's going to spin up, and if that's the loudest it gets, that's not going to be a problem. One thing we did notice in our test results is that it downclocks under very heavy load. So be aware of that. Go and have a look at the detailed test that we did at notebookcheck.com. We've got details there for you, talking about recovery times from the downclocking as well. There's the heat graph, and nothing to be worried about that. There on the maximum load, 42.6. So Lenovo seemed to have tuned this towards lower temperature, lower volume, but then obviously the downclocking is the side effect of that. So you want to know about battery runtimes off that 44 watt hour battery. Well, there's the idle figure there, 15.75 hours. Now that is actually pretty good given the battery size there, so it looks like there's a nice efficient build inside. When we get onto Wi-Fi load test there at our surfing test v1.3, 5 hours 46, so off that 44 watt hour battery averaging sort of 8 watts there. That's a little bit on the high side. Under load, 1 hour 32 minutes. Stay tuned after the pros and cons, but if you've just jumped to the pros and cons, here they are. I'm going to give you a quick summary now. On the pro side of things, obviously excellent input devices. This is a ThinkPad. This is exactly what you expect from a ThinkPad. There's a bright touchscreen, matte but also glossy. There's a slightly matte layer or a dispersal layer in there, but it's definitely some reflections visible on it. A great set of interfaces, a docking port, and obviously options here for various configurations. We've got the smart card reader on this one. Now, a big issue that we had with this, and we need to highlight it, and that is if you can get a close-up of this here. This opening for the stylus creates a slight weak point above there. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but what's actually happened is the chassis has cracked. Now, that is obviously very easy to bend that, and it's just cracked above there. So that is a weak point. We've written up more details in the full review, and you can see a couple of pictures of that, but do bear that in mind, especially if you're going to be using that stylus a lot. So the Tft Screen here doesn't have a great color accuracy, so bear that in mind. There's also a fairly poor webcam, and voice recordings on the microphone weren't that brilliant either. So our reviewer, Sebastian Jentsch, gave it an 86% overall score. You can see the breakdown there, and obviously we marked it down for the chassis, 85% there, but obviously great input combinations, great connectivity options, and great build quality and feel overall. So obviously this is a fairly complex device here. There are a lot of options on this, and a lot of connectivity options as well. I do advise you to take a look at the full review so you can read through all the elements. There's a very long and detailed review we've got on the site for you, notebookcheck.net, and I'll put the link down in the show notes on the YouTube page. If you got anything out of this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got plenty more videos coming up for you, at least 4 more devices this week, and more in the pipeline. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the page, and we thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next Notebook Check Tech Review. So as a little extra test, what I want to do now is the long-term load test that I sometimes do which is the Skylake Powerdirector 14 rendering test. And I'll quickly run that through now for you. So very briefly, what we do, we take a fixed set of files, a project within Powerdirector, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to render it out using Intel QuickSync at a default 50 frames a second, 16 megabytes per second. Let's put the QuickSync on and put rendering preview on for you, and we'll kick that off. Now then, the best we've seen, and that was on a Core i7, sorry, with the U series, the best we've seen is the Surface Book, which does not down throttle over time. One of the worst figures I've seen recently is from the Surface Pro 3. That's 2 generations old, but that throttled back quite a lot after about 5 minutes, depending on the environment. If you're in a warm environment, that throttles back very quickly. We're seeing on Core M5 and M7 around 10 minutes, so somewhere between the Surface Pro 3 when it's warm and the Surface Book. And I've seen on quad-core Skylake processors where Intel QuickSync is not that much faster because a lot of the hard work is done in the hardware rendering, down at about 6 minutes as well. So let's see what this Core i7 dual-core U series does here. Now take a look at this. We are only just a few minutes into the test and we're down throttled to 1.48 gigahertz already. This is very interesting. I want to make sure we've got this on high performance mode, and let's put that into high performance mode if we can find it. We're already in high performance mode. High performance on battery, 1.48 gigahertz. Now that is estimating a time of around, despite that throttling back, of around 8-9 minutes, so around a Core M5 and a Core M7 experience, which is really interesting. And those platforms are fanless. This has got a fan going now. You might even be able to hear that. It is coming out in front of the keyboard. I don't know if you can hear it on this camera. But it is coming out in front of the keyboard in this area here, and that's where the exhaust is happening. So let's that. As that comes to the end of the render there, let me tell you that I was checking temperatures through that. The fan was on all the time, and the little bit of warmth just on the top, not really coming across much of the keyboard, and a little bit of heat on the back there. It's just coming through to the last bit of rendering, which is an overlay, which has pushed the CPU level up high, because that can't be done by the Intel QuickSync. That's gone up to 2.4 gigahertz. And I saw it going down to about 2.2, 2.0, and the lowest point we saw there I think was 1.4 earlier on in the rendering. So that might have been when the early titles were on that video that it done a lot of CPU work and really clocked back. But what it seems to be happening is that it's producing a reasonable score. So despite that CPU down clocking, Intel QuickSync seems to have been going fairly well in the background. That's obviously dependent on a GPU clock and not CPU clock. We're just coming to the last, and it looks like we're going to get 9 minutes. So that's not actually that brilliant, that score. So we've just proven that there's a significant amount of throttling on this Yoga, and that is affecting it to the point where it's actually slower than a couple of Core M5 and Core M7 devices I've tested recently, and they were fanless. So bear in mind that H520 graphics there with the clocking is suffering a little bit, and we're back up to 3 gigahertz on the CPU speed there now. So an interesting score. Total time on that was exactly 9 minutes, and that proves a bit of throttling to watch out for on the ThinkPad Yoga 260. Again, thanks for watching. Any feedback, if you've got the Yoga 260 and you want to put feedback, give us some of your thoughts on it. Put them in the show notes underneath, put them in the comments underneath the YouTube video. But again, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again on the next Notebook Check Tech Review.